Repaired her starship, her kiss carried a promise I couldn't ignore. Part 1. The wreck. That fell from nowhere, the alarm woke Kong Tai-ho from a dreamless sleep. Red lights flashed in his small room. A voice came through the speakers. It said something had hit the outer dock. Tai-ho sat up and rubbed his eyes. He had worked late the night before. His hands still had grease on them from fixing an old cargo ship. He was tired, but alarms meant trouble. And trouble at Frontier Station 7 could kill everyone. He pulled on his boots and grabbed his tool belt. The metal floor was cold under his feet as he ran through the narrow hallways. Other workers were running too. Some looked scared. Some looked confused. Frontier Station 7 was not a nice place. It floated at the edge of known space, far from Earth and far from the core worlds. Ships came here when they had nowhere else to go. Broken ships. Dying ships. Ships that other stations would not touch. Tai-ho was one of the best mechanics on the station. He could fix things that others said were impossible. That was why he lived here, at the end of everything. Because broken things found their way to him. When he reached the outer dock, he stopped. His breath caught in his chest. The ship was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was long and smooth, like something alive. The metal seemed to flow like water frozen in time. There were no sharp edges, no visible bolts or panels. It was beautiful, and it was badly damaged. A large hole had been torn in its side. Smoke rose from the wound. Strange lights flickered inside, blue and purple in colors Tai-ho did not have names for. Park Jisoo ran up beside him. Jisoo was his best friend and fellow mechanic. He was breathing hard. "What is that thing?" Jisoo asked. "I don't know," Tai-ho said. Commander Im Soo-jin arrived next. She was a tall woman with gray in her hair and hard eyes. She had kept this station running for 15 years through problems that would have destroyed other places. "Scan it," she ordered. One of the technicians worked at a console. After a moment, he shook his head. "The computer doesn't recognize it. It's not in any database. Human, allied, or otherwise." "Alien," Jisoo whispered. Tai-ho looked at the ship again. He felt something strange. Not fear. Something else. Like the ship was calling to him. Like it needed him. "Is anyone alive in there?" Soo-jin asked. The technician checked again. One life sign. Weak. Very weak. Soo-jin thought for a long moment. Protocol said they should call the authorities. Report the alien vessel. Wait for instructions. But waiting could take days. The nearest patrol ship was far away. Tai-ho Soo-jin said, "You and Jisoo. Check it out. Be careful." He grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the ship. Jisoo followed, though he looked like he wanted to run the other way. The inside of the ship was dark and full of smoke. Tai-ho coughed as he moved through the strange corridors. The walls seemed to pulse with a faint light, like a heartbeat. Like the ship was still alive. Even though it was dying, they found her in what looked like a control room. She was lying on the floor unconscious. Her skin was pale, almost white, with faint lines that glowed soft blue. Her hair was long and dark. She looked human. Almost human. But there were differences. The shape of her ears, the way her fingers were just slightly too long. She was beautiful. And she was hurt. "We need to get her to medical," Jisoo said. Tai-ho looked at her. He thought about what would happen if they took her to the medical bay. The authorities would be called. She would be taken away. Studied. Maybe locked up. Maybe worse. He didn't know why, but he couldn't let that happen. "No," he said. "We take her to my workshop." "What?" Jisoo stared at him. "Are you crazy?" "She's an alien." "She's hurt," Tai-ho said simply. "And if we report her, you know what will happen? They'll treat her like a threat. Like a thing, she might be a threat." Tai-ho looked down at the woman again. She was so small. So fragile. Whatever had damaged her ship had nearly killed her. She was running from something. He was sure of it. "Help me carry her," he said. Jisoo cursed under his breath. But he didn't say no. He never said no to Tai-ho. They had been friends for too long. Together, they carried the woman through the back corridors of the station. Tai-ho knew every hidden path, every forgotten tunnel. He had explored them all during his years here. They reached his workshop without being seen. The workshop was large and messy. Parts from 100 different ships covered the tables and floors. Tools hung on the walls. It smelled like oil and metal and hard work. Tai-Ho cleared a space on his cot and laid the woman down gently. He checked her breathing. It was shallow, but steady. "I'll get the medical kit," Jisoo said. He was scared, but he was helping. That was what friends did. Tai-Ho sat beside the woman and watched her face. The glowing lines on her skin pulsed slowly, matching her heartbeat. He wondered who she was, where she came from, what she was running from. He didn't have answers, but he had made a choice. He would help her, whatever it took. Hours passed. Tai-Ho cleaned her wounds. They were strange wounds, burns that seemed to come from energy weapons. He did his best with human medicine. He didn't know if it would work on her body. Near morning, her eyes opened. Tai-Ho leaned back, startled. Her eyes were purple, deep purple, like the sky at sunset on a world far from any sun. She looked at him. Fear filled her face. She tried to sit up, tried to run, but she was too weak. She fell back, gasping. "It's okay," Tai-Ho said softly. He held up his hands to show he meant no harm. "You're safe. I'm not going to hurt you." She stared at him. Her breathing was fast and scared. "Do you understand me?" he asked. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. Her voice was soft and strange, with an accent he had never heard. "Safe," she whispered, double quotes. "Yes, safe." She looked around the workshop, at the tools, at the parts, at the small window that showed the stars outside. "Where?" she asked. "Frontier Station 7, the edge of human space." "Human," she repeated. She seemed to taste the word. Then her eyes found his again. "You helped me?" "Yes." "Why?" Tai-Ho thought about the question. He didn't have a good answer. He just knew that when he saw her lying there, hurt and alone, he couldn't walk away. "'Cause you needed help," he said. She stared at him for a long time. Something changed in her face. The fear didn't go away, but something else joined it. Confusion, maybe? Or wonder. "My name is Yoon Hana," she said finally. "I'm Kong Tai-Ho." She closed her eyes. Exhaustion pulled at her. But before she slept, she whispered something that made Tai-Ho's heart beat faster.
"They are coming.
They will find me, and they will destroy everything." Then she was asleep again. Tai-Ho sat in the quiet workshop surrounded by broken machines and scattered tools. Outside the window, the stars burned cold and distant. He had made his choice. Whatever was coming, he would face it. He looked at the woman sleeping on his cot. Yoon Hana, a stranger from the stars. He didn't know it yet. But his life had just changed forever. Repaired her starship, her kiss carried. A promise I couldn't ignore, part 2. The mechanics promised 3 days passed. Yoon Hana grew stronger. She could sit up now. She could eat the simple food Tai-Ho brought her. She could talk, and she told him everything. "My people are called the Velour," she said. Her voice was soft, but steady. "We have traveled the stars for thousands of years. We are peaceful. We trade. We explore. We do not fight." Tai-Ho sat on a metal crate, listening. The workshop was quiet, except for the hum of the station's life support systems. "But peace does not protect you from those who want war," Hannah continued. Her purple eyes grew dark with memory. "The Dominion came to our worlds 10 years ago. They are conquerors. They take what they want. They destroy what they cannot take." "I've never heard of the Dominion," Tai-Ho said. "Your people are far from their territory." "For now," Hannah looked at him. "But they grow. They spread. One day, they will come here too." Tai-Ho felt cold. He thought about Earth, about his sister, back on the homeworld, about all the people who had no idea what was out there in the dark between stars. "Why are they chasing you?" he asked. Hannah reached into her clothing and pulled out a small device. It was silver and shaped like a teardrop. Lights moved inside it like trapped lightning. "This holds information," she said. battle plans, weakness in their defenses, locations of their secret bases. My people gathered this at great cost. Many died to get it. If this reaches the Valori Council, we can fight back. We can win. And if the Dominion gets it, then my people will fall. And after us, others will fall too. The Dominion will grow until nothing can stop them. Taiho stared at the small device. So much death and hope held in something so small. Your ship, he said. Can it fly? Hannah shook her head. The damage is too great. Our technology is advanced, but delicate. Without the proper tools, the proper materials, it cannot be repaired. Taiho stood up. He walked to the window and looked out at the damaged alien ship sitting in the dock. It was beautiful, even in ruin. Strange and wonderful and broken. I want to try, he said. Hannah looked at him with confusion. Try what? To fix your ship. She almost laughed. You do not understand. Valori technology is nothing like human machines. It would take years to learn. We do not have years. We do not have days. Taiho turned to face her. Show me anyway. Something passed between them. Hannah saw the determination in his eyes. She had seen it before, when she first woke and found him watching over her. This human was strange. He did not run from problems. He ran toward them. Very well, she said. I will show you. The next morning, they went to the ship together. Hannah was weak, but she insisted on walking. Taiho let her lean on his arm as they moved through the dock. Inside the ship, Hannah explained everything. The walls were not just metal. They were alive in a way, grown from special crystals that responded to thought. The engines did not burn fuel. They bent space itself. The controls were not buttons and levers. They were connections to the pilot's mind. Taiho listened and learned. He asked questions. Stupid questions at first, then better ones. Hannah was surprised. He understood faster than she expected. This is the main problem, she said, pointing to a large chamber in the heart of the ship. A massive crystal sat in the center, cracked and dark. The core is dead. Without it, nothing works. Taiho walked around the crystal slowly. He touched it. It was cold. What does it need? He asked. Energy. A very specific kind of energy. We have devices that produce it, but they were destroyed in the attack. Taiho thought. He thought about all the ships he had fixed, all the problems he had solved. He thought about human machines and how they were different from this. Energy is energy, he said finally. Maybe the shape is different, but at the heart of it, everything needs power. Let me try something. He spent the whole day working. He brought human generators into the ship. He connected wires and cables in ways that should not have worked. Hannah watched him with growing wonder. This is wrong, she said. The frequencies do not match. The flow patterns are incorrect. I know, Taiho said. But sometimes wrong is just another way of right. He finished the connections and pressed a button. The crystal flickered. Once, twice, then it began to glow. Soft at first, then brighter. Not as bright as before, but alive. Hannah stared. Her mouth was open. How? She whispered. Taiho smiled. Human engineering. We don't do things the pretty way. We just make them work. Park Jisoo found them that evening. He had been covering for Taiho, telling others that his friend was sick. But he couldn't hide forever. You're actually doing it, Jisoo said. He looked at the glowing crystal, at the cables running from human machines to alien technology. You're actually fixing this thing. Trying to, Taiho said. Jisoo pulled him aside, away from Hannah. Do you know what you're risking? Jisoo asked. His voice was low and angry. If the station finds out you're hiding an alien, they'll throw you out the airlock. If whatever is chasing her shows up, we all die. I know. And why are you doing this? Taiho looked at Hannah. She was sitting by the crystal, running her fingers over its surface. The glow lit her face with soft light. She looked peaceful for the first time since he had found her. Because it's the right thing to do, Taiho said. Jisoo was quiet for a long moment. He looked at his friend. They had known each other since they were young men, fresh from Earth and looking for adventure. They had survived bad times together. Jisoo trusted Taiho with his life. Fine, Jisoo said finally. I think you're an idiot, but I'll help. Taiho smiled. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We're probably all going to die. The work continued. Day after day, Taiho learned more about the Valori's ship. Day after day, he found new problems and new solutions. He welded alien metal with human torches. He patched crystal conduits with synthetic materials. He rebuilt systems with parts from a dozen different human ships. Hannah worked beside him. She was getting stronger, and she was watching him with different eyes now. One night, they sat together in the control room. The repairs were half done. The ship hummed with new life, a strange mix of alien grace and human stubbornness. Why do you help me? Hannah asked. You do not know my people. You owe us nothing. You risk everything for a stranger. Taiho wiped grease from his hands. He thought about the question. When I was young, he said, my father was a fisherman. One day a storm came. His boat was destroyed. He was drowning. A man from another village saved him. A stranger. My father asked him why. The man said, because I could. That's enough. Hannah listened in silence. I can help you, Taiho said. So I will. That's enough. Hannah looked at him for a long time. Then she reached out and touched his hand. Her fingers were cool and smooth. Among my people, she said softly, there is a saying. A heart that helps without asking is a heart that shines like a star. You have such a heart, Kong Taiho. Taiho felt warmth spread through his chest. He didn't know what to say. They sat together in the quiet ship, surrounded by their strange work. Outside, the stars burned with ancient light. Neither of them knew what was coming. Neither of them knew how little time they had left. But in that moment, there was peace. And something more. Something growing between them. Something neither of them had words for yet. In the darkness of space, far from home, a human and an alien worked side by side, building hope from broken pieces. The Dominion was coming. But they were not ready to give up. Not yet. Repaired her starship, her kiss. Carried a promise I couldn't ignore. Part 3. Hunters at the gate the ship arrived on the 7th day. Taiho was working on the engine systems when the station alarm sounded. Not the emergency alarm. The visitor alarm. Someone was requesting permission to dock. He looked at Hannah. Fear crossed her face like a shadow. They found me, she whispered. Taiho grabbed his communicator and called Jisoo. What's happening? A ship just appeared, Jisoo said. His voice was tense. They say they're traitors. But Taiho, I've never seen a ship like this. It's big. Really big. Taiho's heart pounded. Keep me updated. He turned to Hannah. Stay here. Stay hidden. I need to see what's happening. No. Hannah grabbed his arm. If they are Dominion, they will sense me. They have machines that can find Valori. You cannot hide me forever. Then we work faster. Taiho looked at the ship around them. It was better than before. Much better. The core was stable. The hull was patched. But the navigation systems were still broken. Without them, Hannah could not fly to her home world. How much longer do we need? He asked. 3 days. Maybe 2 if we don't sleep. Then we don't sleep. He left her in the ship and walked to the observation deck. A crowd had gathered there watching through the large windows. Taiho pushed through until he could see. The Dominion ship hung in space like a beast waiting to attack. It was black and covered with sharp edges. Where Valor's ships looked alive, one looked dead. Cold, hungry, a smaller craft separated from it and moved toward the station's main dock. Commander Sujin stood nearby, watching with hard eyes. Taiho approached her. What do they want? He asked. They say they're looking for escaped criminals, Sujin said. Her voice was flat. They want to search the station. Are you going to let them? Sujin looked at him. She had known Taiho for years. She knew he was hiding something. But she also knew He was a good man. "I'll do what I must to protect this station," she said quietly. "But I'll give you as much time as I can." Taiho understood. She was helping him in her own way. "Thank you," he said. The Dominion agents came aboard an hour later. There were 3 of them. They looked almost human, but not quite. Their skin was gray. Their eyes were too far apart. They moved in a way that seemed wrong. It's like puppets pulled by invisible strings. Their leader called himself Vorak. He smiled when he spoke, but the smile never reached his eyes. "We apologize for the intrusion," Vorak said to Sujin. His voice was smooth like oil. "We are simply looking for a dangerous criminal. A Valerie spy. She stole valuable property from our people. We believe she may have come this way." "Haven't seen any Valori," Sujin said. "This is a human station. We repair ships. That's all, of course. But you would not mind if we looked around? Just to be certain?" It was not really a question. Behind Vorak, the Dominion ship waited. Its weapons could destroy the station in seconds. "Search where you like," Sujin said. "We have nothing to hide." Vorak smiled his empty smile. "Thank you for your cooperation." The Dominion agents began their search. They moved through the station slowly, checking every room, every corridor. They had a device that beeped and hummed as they walked. Taiho watched from a distance. His hands were shaking. He needed more time. He found Jisoo in a maintenance corridor. "I need your help," Taiho said. "What do you need?" "A distraction. Something big. Something that will make them stop searching." Jisoo's eyes went wide. "You want me to cause trouble while alien soldiers are walking around the station? Are you trying to get us killed?" "I'm trying to save her." Jisoo stared at him. Then he sighed. "You really care about this alien woman, don't you?" Taiho didn't answer. He didn't need to. "Fine," Jisoo said. "I have an idea. But you owe me a drink after this. A big one." 20 minutes later, alarms filled the station. Red lights flashed everywhere. A voice announced that there was a reactor leak in Section 7. Everyone needed to evacuate. There was no reactor leak. Jisoo had triggered a false alarm. But the Dominion agents didn't know that. Vorak looked annoyed as station workers rushed past him. "What is happening?" "Reactor problem," Sujin said calmly. "It happens sometimes. Old station. We need to handle this before it becomes dangerous. We will continue our search after, of course." The distraction worked. For hours, the station pretended to fix a problem that didn't exist. The Dominion agents waited impatiently. Taiho used every minute. He worked on the navigation systems until his hands bled. Hannah worked beside him, teaching him, guiding him. They barely spoke. There was no time for words. Night came. The false alarm was finally over. The Dominion agents resumed their search. They were getting closer to the outer dock. Closer to the hidden Valori ship. Taiho knew they couldn't hide forever, Anna, he said. "If they find you, what happens?" "They will take me," she said quietly. "They will take the data. And then they will destroy this station so no one can tell what they did. Then we can't let them find you." "There is another option." Ina looked at him with her purple eyes. "I can give myself up. They want me, not your people. If I surrender, no?" The word came out harder than Taiho intended. "I didn't do all this work just to watch you give up. People will die if people will die anyway. You said it yourself. The Dominion doesn't stop. They just keep taking. The only way to beat them is to fight." Hannah fell silent. She looked at this strange human who refused to let her go, who worked until his hands bled for a stranger from the stars. "You are very stubborn," she said. "I know. It is a good quality." Despite everything, Taiho smiled. They worked through the night. By morning, the navigation system was alive. Barely. It flickered and buzzed. It was held together with tape and wire and hope. But it worked. "Can you fly?" Taiho asked. Hannah ran her hands over the controls. "Yes, I think so. But the Dominion ship is blocking the exit. The moment I launch, they will shoot me down." Taiho had thought about this. He had an idea. A crazy idea. What if they were looking the other way? What do you mean? Leave that to me. He left the ship and found Jisoo again. His friend looked exhausted. The past days had been hard on everyone. I need one more favor, Taiho said. Of course you do. I need you to fire a distress beacon. Fake emergency. Something that will make the Dominion ship turn toward the other side of the station. Jisoo laughed. It was not a happy laugh. You're going to get us all killed. Maybe. Will you do it? Jisoo was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. You're the best friend I ever had, Taiho said. I know. I'm also the stupidest friend you ever had. It felt like goodbye. Taiho returned to the ship. Hannah was ready. The engines hummed with power. The strange mix of alien and human technology pulsed with life. Whatever happens, Hannah said, I want to thank you. No one has ever risked so much for me. You can thank me when you're safe. She looked at him. Something shone in her purple eyes. Something deep and warm. When this is over, she said softly, I will come back for you. I promise. Taiho wanted to say something, but there were no words. Outside, the distress beacon fired. The Dominion ship began to turn, Taiho said. Hannah touched the controls. The ship shuddered, rose, moved toward the dock exit. The stars waited, and the race began. Repaired. Her Starship, her kiss carried a promise. I couldn't ignore Part 4, the last Botha Valori ship. Shot out of the dock like a bullet from a gun. Taiho watched through the observation window as the sleek craft raced toward the stars. His heart pounded so hard he thought it might break through his chest. The Dominion ship was turning. Too slow, Hannah had a chance. Then the alarms screamed again. They're powering weapons. Someone shouted. Bright light flashed from the Dominion ship. Energy beams cut through space toward the fleeing Valori vessel. Taiho stopped breathing. The first beam missed. The second came close. The third struck the ship's side. The Valori craft spun. Smoke poured from its hull. It was hit, but it was still flying, and then something amazing happened. The ship fired back. Taiho had not known the ship had weapons. Hannah had never mentioned them. But now, blue light erupted from the Valori vessel. It struck the Dominion ship's engines. Not enough to destroy it, but enough to slow it down. Hannah used the moment. Her ship accelerated toward open space. The Dominion ship tried to follow, but its engines were damaged. It could not catch her. Taiho watched until the Valori ship was just a tiny light among the stars. Then it vanished into hyperspace. She was gone. He should have felt relieved. She was safe. The mission was complete. The Dominion had failed. Instead, he felt empty. The next hour was chaos. The Dominion agents were furious. Vorak demanded to know who had helped the Valori spy escape. He threatened everyone. He pointed weapons at Commander Sujin, but there was no proof. No evidence connected anyone to the escape. The Valori ship had been hidden in a part of the dock that was supposed to be empty. Anyone could have hidden it there. Eventually, the Dominion ship left. It had to repair its engines, and it had failed its mission. Staying longer would only remind everyone of that failure. When they were gone, Jisoo found Taiho on the observation deck. Taiho was sitting alone, staring at the stars. You did it, Jisoo said. She escaped. Yeah. Jisoo sat down beside him. You don't look happy? Taiho didn't answer. You liked her, Jisoo said. It wasn't a question. I barely knew her. Sometimes that doesn't matter. They sat in silence. The stars burned cold and distant. What do you think happens now? Jisoo asked. She takes the data to her people. They fight back against the Dominion. Maybe they win. Maybe they lose. Either way, it's not my fight anymore, isn't it? Before Taiho could answer, his communicator beeped. A message. He looked at it and froze. It was coordinates. And a simple message in broken common, ship damaged. Need help, please come. Taiho stood up so fast his chair fell over. What is it? Jisoo asked. She didn't make it. The ship is damaged again. She needs help. Where? Taiho looked at the coordinates. They were far, very far, beyond the edge of human space, in territory no human had ever explored. Doesn't matter, he said. I'm going, Taiho, wait. Jisoo grabbed his arm. Think about this. That's unknown space. You go out there, you might never come back. You'd be leaving everything behind. Your life, your home, everything. I know. For a woman you've known for a week? Taiho looked at his friend. For a week, she showed me something I'd forgotten. That there's more to life than just surviving. More than fixing broken ships and waiting to die. It's insane, probably. Jisoo stared at him. Then he shook his head and laughed. You always were the crazy one. You'll cover for me. What else would I do? Jisoo pulled him into a hug. It was tight and fierce. You come back someday, you hear me? You owe me that drink. I'll come back. They both knew it was probably a lie. But some lies were necessary. Taiho took a small transport ship. It was old and slow, but it was reliable. He loaded it with supplies and tools. Everything he might need. Commander Sujin stopped him at the dock. You're leaving, she said. Not a question. Yes. She looked at him for a long moment. Then she handed him something. A small badge. The symbol of Frontier Station 7. So you remember where you came from, she said. Taiho took it. Thank you. For everything, just don't die out there. She almost smiled. Good mechanics are hard to find. He left without looking back. The journey took 3 days. 3 days of flying through unknown space. 3 days of checking his navigation, praying he was going the right way. 3 days of thinking about Hannah. He found her on a small moon in an empty system. The Valori ship sat on the surface, dark and silent. Worse than before, the hit from the Dominion weapon had caused more damage than he realized. The hull was cracked. The engine was dead. The crystal core was flickering like a dying candle. Hannah was inside. She was alive, but weak. The life support was failing. You came, she whispered when she saw him. I did not know if you would come. I came, he said. He carried her to his transport ship, gave her food and water, made sure she was warm. Then he looked at her ship. Can you fix it? She asked. Taiho walked around the damaged vessel. The problems were severe, far worse than before. He would need days, maybe weeks, and he didn't have the right parts. I don't know, he said honestly. If you cannot fix it, the data cannot reach my people. Everything we did will mean nothing, Taiho thought. He looked at the Valori ship. He looked at his human transport. An idea formed. Your navigation system, he said. The one we fixed. Does it still work? Barely. What if we moved it to my ship? Your ship can't fly, but maybe mine can carry the data? Hannah's eyes widened. A human ship in Valori's space? My people would not know what to make of it. Would they shoot me? I do not think so. But the journey is long and dangerous, and you'll have to come with me. Guide me. Hannah looked at him, really looked at him. This human who kept giving everything for her. Why? She asked, why do you do this? You have given up your home, your friends, everything. For me? For my people? Why? Taiho sat down beside her. He was tired. More tired than he had ever been. But when he looked at her, the tiredness didn't seem to matter. It's 'cause I can, he said. Because you needed help. Because when I look at you, I see someone worth saving. Tears formed in Hannah's purple eyes. Among my people, there are stories of souls that are connected. Two hearts that beat as one across time and space. I thought they were just stories. Maybe they're not. She moved closer to him. Her hand touched his face. Her skin was cool, but her touch was warm. Kong Taiho, she said softly. I need you to understand something. What? If I do this, if I kiss you now, it means something to my people. It is not just a kiss. It is a promise, a bond. It means I choose you, and you choose me forever. Taiho's heart beat faster. And if I accept, then you are mine, and I am yours. Until the stars go dark, He looked into her purple eyes. He saw fear there. Hope. Love. "I accept," he said. She kissed him. It was soft and gentle. But he felt something flow through him, like electricity, like light. Like the universe itself was watching and smiling. When she pulled back, the glowing lines on her skin were brighter. Her eyes were shining. "Now we are one," she whispered. Taiho smiled. "Then let's go save your people. Together." They spent the next day transferring the navigation system. It was hard work. Dirty work. But they worked side by side, and somehow that made it easier. When it was done, B stood in the transport ship's small cockpit. The stars waited outside. "Ready?" Taiho asked. Hannah took his hand. "Ready." He engaged the engines. The ship rose from the moon's surface, and together they flew toward the unknown. Repaired her starship. Her kiss carried a promise. I couldn't ignore Part 5. Stars Beyond the Frontier. The journey to Velori space took 2 weeks. 2 weeks of flying through regions no human had ever seen. 2 weeks of avoiding Dominion patrols. 2 weeks of learning about each other. Taiho learned that Hannah loved music. She sang sometimes strange songs in her language that sounded like wind through crystal caves. He learned that she had been a scientist before the war, studying the birth of stars. He learned that she had lost her family to the Dominion, and that the data she carried was more than a mission. It was revenge. It was hope. It was everything. Hannah learned that Taiho had grown up poor on Earth. She learned that he had left home at 17 to find work in the stars. She learned that he had never fallen in love before because he never stayed in one place long enough. She learned that under his quiet nature, there was a heart bigger than any she had ever known. They shared meals in the small ship. They talked until late into the night cycles. They slept close together, her head on his shoulder, his arm around her waist. The bond between them grew stronger. Taiho could feel it. Sometimes, when she was thinking hard, he could sense her thoughts like whispers in his mind. When she was scared, he felt her fear. When she was happy, warmth spread through his chest. "Is this normal?" he asked her once. "This connection? For bonded pairs?" "Yes," she said. "Our souls are learning each other. In time, we will be like 2 parts of one whole. Does that scare you?" She smiled. "No, it makes me feel less alone." On the 10th day, they reached Dominion territory. There was no way around it. The safest route to Velori space passed through an area the Dominion controlled. They would have to be careful. "They have patrols everywhere," Hannah said, looking at the navigation display. "If they detect us, we cannot outrun them. Then we don't get detected." Taiho flew carefully. He stayed close to asteroid fields. He hid in the shadows of dead moons. When Dominion ships appeared on sensors, he cut the engines and drifted, cold and silent. Until they passed, it was terrifying work. But Taiho's hands stayed steady. "How are you so calm?" Hannah asked after one close call. "I'm not calm," he admitted. "I'm terrified. But my father taught me something. He said fear is just energy. You can let it freeze you, or you can use it to focus. I choose to focus." Hannah touched his hand. "Your father was wise. He was just a fisherman." He was wise. On the 12th day, they left Dominion territory behind. Taiho let out a breath he felt like he had been holding for days. "We made it," he said. "We are not there yet," Hannah reminded him. "But yes, we made it through the hardest part. 2 more days of travel." The stars changed. They were different here. Older, redder. Taiho had never seen anything like them. And then, on the 14th day, Velori space, a fleet appeared on their sensors. Hundreds of ships, sleek and beautiful, like the one Hannah had crashed. They surrounded the small human transport in moments. "Do not be afraid," Hannah said. "Let me speak to them." She opened a communication channel and spoke in her language, fast and urgent. Taiho couldn't understand the words, but he felt her emotions through their bond. Hope, fear, determination, a long pause. Then a response came. a deep voice speaking common for Taiho's benefit. "You and Hana, you are believed dead. Explain yourself." "I survived," she said. "I have the data, and I have brought a friend." Another pause. "A human? You brought a human to our space? He saved my life. Many times. Without him, the data would be lost. Your people would be lost. He deserves honor, not suspicion." A silence. Then the voice spoke again. "You will come aboard the flagship. Both of you. We will discuss this further." Gosh. The flagship was enormous. Taiho's transport ship fit inside its landing bay like a toy in a giant's hand. Valerie's soldiers surrounded them as they stepped out. They were tall and pale, with the same glowing lines as Hana. They looked at Taiho with suspicion. "Stay close to me," Hana whispered. They were brought to a great hall. Light filled the space, coming from crystals embedded in the walls. At the far end sat a group of Valori elders. Their faces were old and serious. The eldest spoke. "You and Hana, you have the data?" Hana stepped forward and presented the small device. "I have it. Everything we gathered, everything we need to fight back." An elder took the device. He studied it. His eyes widened. "More than we hoped for," he said. "With this, we can strike at the Dominion's heart. We can turn the tide of the war." A murmur ran through the hall. Hope, excitement. After years of losing, they had a chance. Then the eldest looked at Taiho. "And what of the human?" Hana stood beside Taiho. She took his hand. "This human saved me," she said. Her voice was strong and clear. "When my ship crashed, he protected me. When the Dominion came, he hid me. When my ship could not fly, he fixed it with his own hands. He gave up his home, his friends, everything, to bring me here." She paused. The hall was silent. More than that, she continued. "He is my bonded. We have joined our souls. He is not just a human to me. He is my partner. My equal. My love." The elders looked at each other. Shock was on their faces. A Valori bonding with a human was unheard of. "This is unusual," the eldest said carefully. "Unusual does not mean wrong," Hana replied. The eldest studied Taiho for a long moment. "Human, why did you do this? Why risk everything for someone not of your kind?" Taiho thought about the question. All eyes were on him. 100 aliens waiting for his answer. "Because she needed help," he said simply. "I could help. So I did." The eldest raised an eyebrow. "That is all?" "That's enough." Strange thing happened. The eldest smiled. It was small, but it was real. "Your people," he said. "Humans, we have watched you from afar. You are young, crude, your technology is primitive compared to ours. We did not think much of you." He paused. "We were wrong." He stood from his seat and walked down to face Taiho directly. "The Valori measure worth not by power, but by heart, by the willingness to sacrifice for others, by the courage to help when it costs everything." He placed a hand on Taiho's shoulder. "By these measures, Kong Taiho, you are worthy of our respect." Taiho didn't know what to say. He just nodded. The eldest turned to address the hall. "The data you and Hana brought will save our people. And she brought more than data. She brought proof that we are not alone in this fight. There are others in the galaxy who value what we value, who fight for what we fight for." He looked at Taiho again. "I propose we reach out to the humans, offer them alliance. Together, we can face the Dominion. Together, we can win." The hall erupted in discussion. Some agreed. Some argued, but the seed was planted. Later, Hana and Taiho stood alone on an observation deck. The Valori fleet spread out before them, beautiful and vast. Beyond it, the strange red stars of this region of space. "They're going to contact Earth," Taiho said. "This is going to change everything." "Yes," Hana agreed. "Your people and mine allied. It has never happened before. Because of us." She smiled and leaned against him. "Because of you, because of us," he insisted. She kissed his cheek. The bond between them hummed with warmth. "What do you want to do now?" she asked. "You could go back to your people, be a hero. You would be famous." Taiho thought about it. He thought about Earth, about Jisoo, about Frontier Station 7. Then he looked at Hannah, at her purple eyes, at the glow of her skin, at the woman who had changed his life. "Think I'll stay," he said, "if that's okay." Her smile was brighter than any star. "That is very okay." They stood together, watching the universe unfold before them. New alliances, new possibilities, a future neither of them could have imagined. All because a human mechanic had fixed a broken ship. All because he had chosen to help a stranger, Kong Taiho. The man from the edge of nowhere had changed the galaxy, and beside him, Yoon Hannah, the woman he loved, held his hand. The stars burned on, ancient and endless, and their story was just beginning, the end.